This is the book of Zephaniah, chapter 1, verse 10, and it reads, And it shall come to pass in that day, saith the Lord Yahweh, that there shall be noise, that there shall be the noise of a cry from the fish gate, and that howling from the second, and a great crashing from the hills. Howl, ye inhabitants of Maktesh, for all the merchant people are cut down, all they that bear silver are cut off. All praises, all power, all glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakaha Kodash, Yahweh being the name of the Father, who the world everything calls God, Yahweh, meaning He exists, Bahashem in the name, Yahushai, who the world everything calls Jesus Christ. His name is Yahushai, meaning He is the deliverer, He saves. Bahashem in the name, Rakaha Kodash, Spirit Holy. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who teach well and rule well, who taught me this truth. Peace and salutation to the Akyam, the fellow laborers, the hopeful elect, pushing this truth at risk of their own lives through the four quarters of the earth. To the Akwatim, listen and learn in sincerity and in truth and in silence. Shalom. Akyam meaning brothers, Akwatim meaning sisters. Shalom meaning peace be unto you. Right, we'll get right into it. Right. This podcast, the Common Sense Show. Right. And he's speaking. The title of his segment is episode here. A clear picture is forming about CBDC and what it will bring. America's not paying attention, right? And these Edomite truthers, what perceives me to be an Edomite, you know, these Edomite truthers, these preppers, they're warning their followers, their fan base to get ready, right? And the only thing that is going to keep you, sustain you, cover you in that day, because listen, this whole thing as we see it, everything we know, how we know the way we've been accustomed to transactions, trade, retail, merchants, right? Blue collar, white collar, grassroots, mom and pops, big tech, big corporation, all means and methods of transactions is gonna have to go through Daddy Esau first, right? With their coming Fed now, which is a prep, right? Which is going to segue into the CBDC, which is in turn going to segue into the CHIP, the Revelation 13 verse 16 on down, the CHIP, right? And when they crash this thing, they're gonna make it difficult for you to navigate, so you're going to have to go to them, right? Let's read this scripture we open with. Revelation, Salakia, Zephaniah 1, verse 10. And it shall come to pass in that day, saith the Lord Yahweh, that there shall be a noise of a cry from the fish gate. Right, in the ancient world, during this time, the fish gate was where trade took place. Right? And what's that equivalent? What's that likened to unto today? The stock market. Right? The noise of a cry. Right? And then howling, Salakia, from the second, and a great crashing from the hills. Great crashing. So all this, the stock market, the banking system, it's going to crash, or orchestrated by design crash. Ultimately, it's the Lord Yahweh Shemel Shai putting the spirit on these banking families to crash this thing. Because what is it about? for them, for Amalek and his inner circle. It's about control, right? Verse 11. How will ye inhabitants of Maktesh? Maktesh was a city of trade. For all the merchant people are cut down. All they that bear silver are cut off. The bankers, right? This thing gonna crash, man. Right? What's the saying in the world? You can't build something new on an old foundation. You got to tear the whole thing down. These elites are going to tear this down. Let's watch this podcast. Well, listen to it, Salakia. And Lord willing, we'll attach those precepts.
That's important. But it's also food, water, guns, ammo, natural medicine, and tools. It's really, really important that you consider all those things. This is your last chance to get prepped, to get outside the system. And I do mean it is your last chance. What are you going to do? Well, let me give you a little motivation. I report
Scripture. Listen, the only preparation for what is coming is Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. That's it, man. No amount of doomsday prepping, off-grid living. None of that gonna work. Stockpiling. Revelation 3, verse 10, red letter. And it reads, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, right? Patience meaning to suffer. Suffer in this truth, right? Being in this truth, right? A large portion of this walk is suffering, man. Right? You have these Christians out here. I desire the day of the Lord. Well, what do some of these Eves say? The Lord is my husband. Listen, this truth is not. It's not pretty, like how these wacky-chacky Christians portray it to be, man. Right? It says here, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation. Right? And Lord willing, we have that number, the hopeful elect, who will be kept from the hour of temptation. And what is the hour of temptation? The C hip. The M to the O to the T to the B. The Revelation 13 verse 16 on down. Which shall come upon all the world. The whole world going to be tried by this C hip. To try them that dwell upon the earth. Right? The whole earth. The whole world in the oikumene sense is going to be tried by this C hip, man. So there's no prepping and getting prepared like these Edomite preppers, the narrative they spit. It's one and one thing only. Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai.
A little motivation. I reported on this last week. And since then, I'm even reading this in mainstream media, World Economic Forum press releases. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. Listen to this. Here are some things that you're going to have imposed upon you. 15-minute cities. You're not going to be able to travel. You won't be able to anyway because you're not going to have a car. Yeah, by 2030, they want the elimination of all automobiles, but that means they start now. So a lot of you aren't going to get to 2030. A lot of you may not get to next year till you're done with your car or your car's done with you. The second thing is that I mentioned this earlier to you in a previous broadcast, you're only going to get to purchase 3 items of clothing a year. You'll be able to take one trip on an airline of less than 500 miles every 3 years. What, you want to go to your cousin's funeral? I'm so sorry, you traveled last year. Okay, not only that, meat will not be available for purchase by 2030. That's in their guidelines, folks. They have published this. This is nothing you have to sit there and say, gee, I wonder how far they're going to go. I've already told you. Diet will consist of bugs, aquatics, and plants. We've been through this, and people said, oh, someday maybe, oh, I think that's far-fetched, that's not going to happen. Well, it's coming. It's coming. And of course...
Yeah, and that's most people out here, you know? That's far-fetched, that's not going to happen, you know? And when these things are taking place, where they're going to mandate and dictate what you purchase to wear, and mandate and dictate where and how much uh, kilometers you may use to travel, right? 15-minute cities and stuff like that. What is that? Second Ezra 15. A man shall desire to go into a city and not be able. Roughly paraphrasing. These are things that are coming, man. You know. I read an article. I skimmed the article. I didn't really read it. I read the headline and maybe the first sentence. That villain Klaus Schwab saying that he wants people to wear uniforms, man. Right? You think this is a joke? Right? Where's the scripture that's going to? And this Edomite said it. You know, people think it's far fetched. Listen, the scriptures tell you. 2 Peter 3, verse 3, and it reads, knowing this first, that there shall come in the last days scoffers, walking after their own lusts. Right? Scoffers. You know, no, it doesn't mean that you're misinterpreting the Bible. It does. Who are you to be saying that? That's not what the Bible. You know, all that nonsense you hear on a day-to-day basis, whether it be from people who come up on the camp, whether it be from family members, right? Fourth verse, and saying, where is the promise of his coming? Right? This is what they say, man. This is likened to 2/3 of our people out here saying that's far-fetched. For since the fathers fell asleep, all things continue as they were from the beginning of the creation, right? Because you see things continuing, you think everything's blessed. What's that scripture? Slipped my mind. Lord will come back. Victuals, yeah, that's it. Victuals shall be so good cheap. That's in 2nd Ezra. Right, these people, listen. 2/3 of our people, they're not ready, man. You know what I mean? And these people out here are going to bug out, man. Right? 2nd Ezra 16, verse 21, and it reads, behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth. Right? And when you look in this word victuals, it is going into food. Right? That they shall think themselves to be in good case. Right? People think everything's blessed. You can still drive through your Timmy's drive-through up here in Canada. Down there in America, it's what? Your Dunkin' Donuts. You can still get your skip the dishes, right? Right. You can still swipe your debit card to make purchases. Everyone thinks themselves to be in good case, and even then shall evils grow upon earth. Right? Evils are growing, man. What kind of evils? Sword, famine, and great confusion. Right? This place. Listen. Let's continue.
Your social credit score has already been determined.
Salakia, them ads, yo.
Score has already been determined. Now, you've been under constant surveillance for years, and some of you are going to have a quite degraded life. You're not helping yourself by being here. But before you go, it's too late. It's already logged and recorded. I don't think there's a difference between being here 5 minutes or 10 minutes. I don't think it matters. But these are the things that we're hearing are coming. You will be assigned a job. unless AI takes over that job, and then you'll be assigned universal basic income. Wonder how long they're willing to pay for that, and what will be the option when they decide it's too expensive. You ever see the movie The Purge? Sorry, just a thought that came to mind.
Yeah, that's Jacob's trouble, man. Predictive programming, right? The Purge. Listen, Jacob's trouble. Let's get it. Jeremiah 30. As a matter of fact, no, we'll go to Daniel 12. Daniel 12, right? This everything as we know it is about to turn upside down, right? Daniel 12, verse 1, and it reads, and at that time shall Michael, right? Michael the archangel, stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people, right? The children of thy people. Whose people? The Most High Yahweh Shai, who are Israelites. Israel being a people before a place. You so-called indigenous, you so-called Latino, you so-called Negro, and speckled bird, right? Beginning with the elect on this side. And there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, right? This time of trouble has never been since there was a nation, right? Even to the same time, and at that time thy people shall be delivered, right? The elect. Every one that should be found written in the book, right? The time that is coming, right? Unless you have that thawa, the spiritual mark of exemption. Lord willing, we have that number. The elect, right? Preordained from the foundations of the world, right? Because the elect are predestinated, right? You're through out here, man. Listen, it's going to be savage town out here. Scriptures say many great miseries shall come to those that dwell on the earth in the latter days. Roughly paraphrasing, right? Second Esdras, right? Let's continue. And these truthers are talking, man.
You ever see the movie The Purge? Sorry, just a thought that came to mind. And what else are they going to deny you? Freedom of association. These track everywhere you go. You come within 6 feet of someone else,
Yeah, he's talking about a cell phone.
they're a bad guy. What are they doing with them? I don't know. Let's. The data does it. Now all of a sudden you're in the same boat they are. I can't talk to you. Get away from me. Get away from me. I can hear it now. This is.
Yeah, like that movie, that episode, the Dark Mirror, the social credit. If you had bad social credit, you were deemed a dreg of society, right? One of those episodes in the Dark Mirror. Black Mirror, Dark Mirror. It's either Black Mirror or Dark Mirror. I can't remember, right? But there was an episode like that, man.
Exactly what we're going to be looking at. Did you ever see the old episode called Obsolete? And you had the commissar of uselessness. And if your job was useless and phased out, you went before a committee, you pled your case, it was merely perfunctory, and then they sentenced you to death. You got your last meal. Obsolete. And what we learned in the movie is even the persecutor ended up being obsolete. What do you think is going to happen with AI? Do you think that old Twilight Zone episode could really become reality? You have to wonder if Rod Serling's unconscious mind didn't travel the depths of time, going through multiple dimensions to where he really told the future. So
listen, and this AI team that's coming, man, you think it's a joke? Listen, man, these right? Scriptures say, "For it is given to you." Let's get that, right? Because 2/3 of our people out here, the deer in headlights, not the sheep, not knowing what's going on, right? No understanding, right? And they're gonna get mowed down out here, man. Matthew chapter 13, Verse 10, and it reads, and the disciples came and said unto him, why speakest thou unto them in parables? Right? The disciples asking Yahushua, why are you speaking to the people in parables? He answered and said unto them, red letter, because it is given unto you to know the mysteries, right? The elect of the kingdom of heaven. But to them it is not given, right? 2/3 of our people out here are not going to receive it. They're not going to hearken. They're not going to take heed, right? They're going to continue to scoff, tell you that sounds far-fetched, right? Right up until the missiles come, man. They're going to take the sea hip, the Revelation 13 verse 16 on down, if they make it that far, or they'll die leading up into that. A FEMA camp, starvation, cannibalization, ravished, Gurga troops, a sword, Esau from the sticks with Big Bubba and Cletus, right? Rolling your head down the road like it's. Listen, let's close. I'm rambling. 2 Timothy 3, verse 1, and it reads, this know also that in the last days perilous times shall come. Right, and we're in the last days, man. It says here perilous, right? Perilous. Let's look at that word perilous, right? For edification's sake. Right. And us in this truth, we see prophecies taking form, right? We're throwing up more prayers. Speed it up, Lord, right? Perilous in the Greek. Strong's G5467.
Strong's G5467. Chalipas. Chalipas.
Chalipas. Hard to do, to take, to approach. Hard to bear. Troublesome. Dangerous. Harsh. Fierce. Savage. That sounds pretty. These are the times that are coming to this place, man. Strong's definition. Through the idea of reducing the strength, difficult, i.e. dangerous, or by implication, furious, fierce, perilous. It's not going to be no joke thing out here, man. Right? So with that, call Allah Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakah HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who teach well and rule well. Shalom to the hopeful elect.